Well, good morning, everyone. It is November 21st, if you can believe that. My name is Audra Gertie. I'm the Executive Vice President and CFO of the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce. And of course, with me is my great sidekick, Director of Events Extraordinaire, Jennifer Rosinski. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. That was a great introduction.
Thanks. And of course, we have another wonderful guest with us.
Also a new member of the chamber.
Right. Alan Mangelsdorf from Group82.
Good morning.
And he is the president and founder. So good morning, Alan. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
So what have you been doing with yourself prior to starting Group82?
Sure. Well, we started Group82 back in the beginning of 2009. And before that, actually, myself and my co-founder, Eric Waldschmidt, had a collection of different marketing jobs, both in the area and down in Stamford, down in the city, and a lot of commuting back and forth, working for different companies, mostly technology companies, really focusing on marketing. And we were working together back in the 90s and had worked together for almost a year and a half before we realized we actually lived about 10 minutes apart from each other. We were talking through the commute. It's like, oh, you go this way and that way. And, well, where do you go? And you're on the Taconic. And, oh, I get off at 82. And, oh, really? So do I. And it was one of those funny things where we discovered after spending a lot of time together, we actually lived almost next to each other. I in LaGrangeville, and he lives up in Millbrook as well. And so over the years, we've just talked. We went and worked at different companies, and we kept talking about, wouldn't it be great if we basically took this show on the road and instead of necessarily working on the client side, started an agency. And it was one of those just you get together and kick the idea around over lunch or over a meal, and then you let it go.
Right.
And then at the tail end of 2008, we really started talking seriously about it, and we said, you know what, let's do it. And so in 2009, we struck out and partnered up and started Group82, and it's been great ever since. And we're having a blast.
That's a great story. So specifically, what do you do for your clients, and how does that process work? Sure.
We're a marketing consultancy, and our focus tends to be on B2B, on business-to-business customers, not surprisingly, with a strong focus in and around finance and technology. And we really do the full range of marketing activities. Typically, people think of marketing agencies, they think of sort of a creative shop where you've got an ad agency or public relations, and occasionally they might think of a more strategic shop. We really tend to do all of that, and we tailor it for what our customers need. And that ranges from smaller companies that may say, I really don't have any expertise in marketing whatsoever. Can you guys do that for us? Mm-hmm. Or it may be a larger company that says, we have this entire division, our services division, that we don't have the bandwidth or the resources to focus on. Can you guys take over that and run that for us? And it even ranges down to a smaller project where somebody may say, look, we really need to roll out these 4 new products. Can you handle the messaging and the collateral for it? So we really tailor it based on what a given customer or project needs.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so that's pretty cool. So what about the design part of that? Do you design the image and all of those collateral pieces as well?
Sure. We do the full range, and some of it we have as far as in-house expertise, and sometimes we'll tap a partner, and where we can, we try and tap a local partner. We also have a pretty strong network of freelancers and other folks that we've worked with over the years, and so if it's a design issue, if it's a website that somebody says, oh, I'm a new business, I need to get up a website, or it's somebody who's now struggling with this whole concept of social media, and they're like, oh, everyone tells me I have to have a Twitter account, and I have to have Facebook, and I'm supposed to do social media, and where do I go? What do I do? Yeah. And so, we'll walk them through that process of helping them understand really, what are they supposed to do? And at the end of the day, we really try and stress with our customers that it's not this sort of one way, just push your message out to the market that people tend to associate with marketing, particularly in years past. It's really about how do you strike up that conversation with your customers. Right. And most importantly is how do you put yourself in your customers' shoes, really. Regardless of whether you're a retail shop or if you're a large B2B concern, you really need to be not saying, hey, let me talk about me. Let's talk about you. And I sort of make the correlation sometimes when we're talking to customers about it. It's sort of like the first date. And if you go out there and you say, hey, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this, and you forget the whole concept of the person on the other side of the table, you're not going to get very far with that customer you're trying to reach. And it's really important to turn it around. And and have that conversation with the customer so that you're talking in their terms and they realize that, hey, you understand my business and you're somebody I should work with.
It's almost like developing a communication customer service plan that's fully integrated, and it's so complex these days.
Yeah.
It is.
With the way social media works and the internet works,
Yes.
one bad experience can be a really horrible
Right.
PR
Feedback.
thing, and you probably try to have that full approach of, making sure that message is consistent, and then when you do get that incoming communication, it's what you want it to be, and the service is there too.
Yeah, definitely. It's really about having that dialogue and having that conversation and making sure that you're consistent, that
Right.
You're saying the same message to a broader customer set, and that if a customer, no matter where they touch a company, whether it's their interaction with a website or if they read something in a publication or how they interact with your customer support people, you really want them to have sort of that same experience so that the customer comes away from it going, wow, these guys get me, and they have their act together. What you don't want is the customer support person who says one thing, the marketing
Right.
on the website says another, and then they look at your Facebook account and it says a third thing,
Right.
because that leaves the customer trying to figure out what's real.
Going on.
Right.
Exactly. And then they begin to doubt all of it. And they start to say, well, if this part's not true, well, then what else isn't true? And the customers tend to be, skeptical. I think we all
Right.
do. Particularly, you look at business-to-business purchases, you're talking about larger dollar items. And in the current environment, people need to be really careful about how they invest their monies. And so
Right.
they really do put companies more through the ringer today than ever before around understanding, what am I buying from you? What am I going to get from you? What's the relationship I'm establishing with you? And so it's really important that customers think about that full range of their communications.
Right, and then maintaining it over the course
Yeah,
of time,
that's the
and
important part.
adjusting it to changes within your business, and moving forward. I think people come at it with like I got to do this now, and then they forget to
Yeah,
keep
they let it.
doing it, which is probably where
Hang on.
you come in and really
Sure.
help them stay engaged
Maintain.
with their marketing plans.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges, particularly with things like social media, and everyone wants to have a blog or to have a Twitter account, and so they get it
Yep.
set up, and then what happens is
It falls off.
they're good at it for a couple of weeks, and then
Right.
the other things become more important,
Yep.
and that's one of the values we bring, and actually that we stress is companies really need to focus on what is their core value proposition to their customers. And increasingly, the marketing aspect is something that can be outsourced. Similar to 10 years ago through today, a lot of companies will outsource their IT or their technology infrastructure because it's not core to what they do. It doesn't make a big difference to how they deliver their product to their customers. But things like product development and sales and service are still key to how they differentiate with a customer. And so things like marketing are another area where they can start to say, you know what, this is not something that we need to necessarily spend the internal resource on.
Right.
Let's use an expert, and let's then
But our focus is where they should be.
Exactly.
Right, the
Focus
in-house
on
expertise is really hard to maintain
It is.
sometimes and stay current with all the technology and
Yep.
software and
Yeah.
everything going on around
It's a
it.
whole other job.
Everything is kind of becoming like that too,
Yeah.
whether it's IT or marketing or accounting, as I found out last
Yes.
week. You just need to rely more and more on certified
On
experts.
experts.
So are you working locally in addition to working down south a little bit too?
Yeah, we have a couple customers here in the Dutchess County area that we've been doing some work with, and the rest of our customers are spread out from Boston to Virginia to
Right.
California.
So how would someone contact you locally?
So there's a couple ways. The best way is probably always my phone, which seems to never leave my side, and that's 235-4628. They can also go to our website, which is group82.com, and they can always email me, and that's Alan, ALAN, at group82.com.
Sounds great. Yeah, I was identifying with a lot of things you were talking about
Absolutely.
from what I see going on at the chamber and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
definitely pertinent to today's business. And give Alan a call if you need some help with your marketing plan. And also thank you to Steve Peter for being here from Andy's Wellness Market. So I wish both of you a wonderful Thanksgiving. And to you, Jennifer, and to everyone listening, have a wonderful, safe, and happy holiday season.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week, so tune in.
Have a great one.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.